to start off with this topic. I said, no, let's wait a little bit. We got to get our big topics and we got to get our NFL and NBA in first. You're dying to talk to me about professional wrestling. What's on your mind, my friend? I'll let you start.
Let me talk to him. Yeah. No. We'll have everybody saying
L.A. Knight.
Yeah. Listen, this guy is the most over wrestler in the business right now. He is more over than Daniel Bryan was in 24. This is.
I agree.
I don't even watch WWE, but guess what? When I know LA Knight's on the television, I'm flipping the channel.
You know I wake up every morning and just go, yeah,
all the time. Even I texted my mom the other day, and she's like, "What do you want from the store?" And I was like, "Can you give me some cookies?" Yeah. And she's like, "What was that?" And I was like, "Don't question me. I'm in a state of mind right now." But the smartest thing WWE did was have Damian Priest win the Money in the Bank. That was the smartest decision they've made in the last 10 years.
I dig it. I told you. I know you didn't watch Money in the Bank the day of. I watched it the night of. Couldn't watch it live. I thought it was one of the best pay-per-views I've ever watched.
And what the hell was John Cena doing? What?
I mean, it was just insane. The great action, the booking, everything was incredible, man. Listen, I know you're a big AEW fan. I've had my issues with the owner of AEW. I've had my issues with that company. As we talked about a lot before, I think wrestling is very niche. I think wrestling is very different. I'm a big WWE fan. I have never had so much enjoyment right now, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, with a lot of times it feels like them, sometimes going for the motions leading up to the premium live events, which I get it. But when you get to those premium live events, no matter it's the cinema with the Bloodline, it's the storytelling, it's the fantastic matches. WWE right now, merchandise sales are at an all-time high. Attendance is up. I went to Raw about a month ago at the Field House here in Cleveland. It was absolutely one of the best crowds I have ever been a part of. I had an absolute blast. It was a great show. I don't think anybody can deny right now. WWE, thanks to Triple H, getting that old man Vince out of the chair. And God forbid, sometimes Vince does come back and he rattles us and makes a terrible show once a month. But for the most part, WWE right now, Jalen, is banging. It's a great time to be a fan.
It is. Because listen, you can get a kid like me who grew up watching wrestling from the age of 6 years old. I remember the first wrestler I ever saw on Raw was Brock Lesnar when he came back in 2012.
Oh, wow. That's the first. Wow. I didn't know that.
Maybe when I was like really, really young, my dad still watched Raw. So maybe I saw like the end of Shawn Michaels, maybe. But like the first vivid memory I have is, do you remember Extreme Rules 2012?
The Lesnar-Cena match.
And Lesnar cut that promo. That promo where he was sitting in the gym or whatever, he was doing that interview.
Remember that.
My first memory of wrestling is right there, and I was hooked ever since. And then I got a little burned out, and then I found out that, there's this new AEW company. I'm going to watch this, and all my favorite guys are going there. And then we got Punk, and I was like, my favorite wrestler of all time is going to be here. This is going to be awesome. And it is awesome. I love the wrestling. But, man, the Bloodline right now is incredible.
Cinema. I acknowledge my tribal chief.
I don't.
Who, at this point, I don't think he's going to surpass Bruno Sammartino's record. I think it'd be actually hysterical if he did. I think we're heading, I said it the other day, I think we're heading towards WrestleMania 40, which I will try to be at in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. By the way, the home of the Philadelphia Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field. It's my goal to be there at WrestleMania 40. If it's the only WrestleMania I'll be at, so be it. I think the American Nightmare As much as I thought Roman should have won at WrestleMania 39, I think Cody finishes his story a year later at WrestleMania 40. That's where I think we're heading. Unless that Mr. If You Smell comes back for one more match, then I think we could extend Reigns' championship reign a little longer. But at this point, I don't think it's ending any less than a WrestleMania.
See, I will also try my best to be at that WrestleMania. That is because it is so close to home. It is the closest we will ever get, probably. So if I have to, my first wrestling show ever was the Royal Rumble in 2014 in PA. So in Philly. So I will try my best.
Wait, no, that was the one in Pittsburgh.
Or that was that was in Pittsburgh. That was
Yep, I was at Raw the next night. Because Raw was in Cleveland the next night.
Yeah. I was in love with the stage. I was in love with the setup. I was just a kid with a dream, and now I have a shot to go to WrestleMania. You bet your bottom dollar I'll be there. And by the time I be there, that boy LA Knight, yeah, he will be the United States champion.
Should be. Man, I gotta tell you, like Raw's got all this stuff going on with the Judgment Day, SmackDown, the Bloodline. There's so much interesting television right now, and it's really Triple H has not made a dramatic change, if you will, since taking over about a year ago from Vince. But it's the little things. It's the following up on storytelling. It's the less people sounding like robots. It's things constantly happening on TV that make sense. It's not running the same damn matches 5 times a week. Like, in retrospect, WWE looks the same. It's the same storyline, same characters mostly. It's the little things he's doing and the excitement and letting these people be themselves is getting fans back into the product.
Can we just, like, I agree, but can we just, like, get rid of the commentary team? Holy God, the commentary team on Raw is horrible.
See, I've actually grown to like Kevin Patrick. A lot of people hate him. I actually think he does a decent job.
You got to be kidding me. You know who I miss on the commentary booth?
Well, we all know who we all miss. That is Pat McAfee. Miss him dearly. Miss him every week. Wade Barrett does a good job on SmackDown. But Michael Cole, Pat McAfee was to WWE what Tony Romo did for Jim Nance when he came to CBS, reinvigorated his career. Pat McAfee reinvigorated Michael Cole. And Michael Cole, without Vince McMahon in his ear, you cannot deny it's a completely different commentator.
Remember, probably 4 years ago at this point, I was bashing Michael Cole, and you were like, Michael Cole's so good.
Oh, I defend Cole every day of my life.
Michael Cole is phenomenal, but he's the peanut butter, and Pat's the jelly. He needs his jelly back.
Cole's been really good with Wade, but there is that special connection that he has with Pat. I think he does a really good job with Corey, too. I think Corey Graves is great, by the way. I don't get the hate for Corey Graves. I think Corey's fantastic.
Oh, I don't get that hate, but I do understand the hate for Kevin Patrick. He's horrible. He is god-awful.
Yeah, I've heard some reports they may want to bring up Vic Joseph from NXT. Maybe he fills in for Kevin. I do like that they went back to 2 announced teams, though, instead of the 3-man booth.
I want Mauro Ranallo back. You remember?
I thought Mauro was a terror. I did not like Mauro Ranallo. He was basically a JR ripoff.
A JR ripoff?
Yeah, way too over the top.
JR is not even doing commentary no more.
Yeah, I know. You know me, I was never the biggest fan of JR. I just thought he sold it way too hard sometimes. I thought it was kind of a joke.
He's got the most iconic calls in wrestling, though.
He had some iconic calls. I loved him and King together, but outside of that, I didn't think JR worked with anybody else other than Jerry.
Please get Kevin Patrick out of there. Give me King for Christ. I'll take King in the commentary booth again.
King was decent. He declined over the last few years, but before we move on, I want to ask you your opinion on this because now we have Raw on Mondays, NXT on Tuesdays, which I'll get to that in a second because I'm going to point it back to something. Wednesday, AEW Dynamite. Thursday is, I believe, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Friday is SmackDown and Rampage. Saturday is WWE POEs and AEW Collision. Sunday, potentially NXT pay-per-views, AEW pay-per-views. Jalen, listen, in the internet world, we can watch clips, we can do streaming and all that. It is impossible, though, in my opinion, if you want to be a fan of both WWE and AEW, and some people watch Impact and New Japan as well, to watch all this wrestling. Are we getting to the point where wrestling is being oversaturated and being too consumed? It is literally on now almost every single day of the year.
Yeah, and when we were growing up, it was on two nights a week.
Yep, it was Raw Monday, SmackDown for either a Friday or Thursday, whatever era you grew up in. It changed nights, but that was it. And occasionally a TNA on Thursday. Have you ever watched TNA?
Yeah, that was it. By the way, Prime TNA, good times. Anyway.
Good times. I watched TNA for about 2 years. Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, Sting, Beer Money, AJ Styles, all those guys. Yes.
Great. Just bad management now, but great times. But yeah, I agree. It's oversaturated, and you can't enjoy it. You get burnt out after. Now, Kenny and all the New Japan guys putting on these 5-star matches, and then you switch to NXT. You're so like, for me, it's like you run out of stamina, right? So you see something. It's like when you watch a match, you have energy that those guys have. When those guys are gassed, you're gassed because you're like, oh my God, like I've been screaming for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's how it is every night because now good matches are being put on television all the time. AEW putting on solid matches on free television. Even Impact. I watched a match with Naomi now Trinity now. Even that was good. And I'm like, Impact hasn't put on a good match since Aces and Eights era. Like
Aces and Eights era. I remember that. That was like their ripoff version of the Shield.
Yeah. And the Shield did it so much better.
I mean, yeah, that's why, like I say, you kind of have to pick companies or pick shows. Like for me, this, and I know you're more of a professional wrestling fan, and I'm more of a sports entertainment fan. And I say that because, and I know you'll agree with me, there is a difference.
Yeah.
And there's a difference in style. There's a difference in presentation. There's a difference in language. There's a difference in all of it. And so that's why I gravitate more towards WWE, and why AEW has almost completely fallen off for me is because, and I've told you this for 4 years, when AEW first started, I watched the first ever, I believe it was Double or Nothing pay-per-view, May of 2019. I thought it was one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen. WWE, TNA, AEW, I was hooked. I watched AEW Dynamite for probably the first 6 months. And slowly started getting burned out. There was nothing that really caught my eye or gave me a good character or anything like that. It was just some ex-WWE guys putting in some work. And more, it just feels like Tony Khan and AEW are easing to their hardcore professional wrestling fan base, which has, an average of 500 to tops 1 million, and they're not even getting that anymore. And it just feels like to me that AEW is kind of, I don't know, they're stale. They're not doing anything to grab my attention. Like I know Blood and Guts is this Wednesday, and I have no interest in watching it, and I've watched the last 2.
See, I get it. I get it. I love wrestling. I love spots. I love just being taken off my feet by these real life superheroes. Some say they're real life superheroes. I agree. They're kind of still right now, but I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. I think they're here for the long haul. I think they're better than WCW. I think anyone who clowned them saying, "Oh, it's just WCW revamped."
That was me when it first started.
That was you, and I told you no. We got talent on this side of the ball. We got probably besides LA Knight, the greatest talker. We got MJF in the building.
MJF is a goat. I want him to come to WWE so bad.
He won't. He's trolling everybody. He's gonna sign a big max deal. He's gonna make it a big deal. He's gonna do what Punk did in Ring of Honor. He's gonna sign the contract on the belt. It's gonna be a big deal. He's not going anywhere. He's staying right here. He's staying where he belongs. We got Darby Allin. Every week I can expect a 5-star match out of AEW television, but every week when I turn on WWE, I can expect a 5-star promo. So it's really like what I could expect: average match and a good promo, or I could expect a great match and a decent promo. So it's really like, what do you like?
Yes.
And a lot of people like WWE because wrestling is beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's very niche.
Because you could like New Japan, you could like deathmatch, you could like 90s wrestling, you could like this.
Like different styles, you can like different promos, you can like different wrestlers. Why we all have a different favorite. I will say this, Jay, and I don't know if you'll agree with me or not. I think the minute AEW started going downhill is when Cody Rhodes left. I thought that was way more significant than people initially thought. Leaving an EVP position in the second biggest wrestling company in the world to go back to a company that buried you 6 years earlier to just be a wrestler, I was like, that's strange. And I was a little pessimistic. I was like, there's no way Cody Rhodes is going to come back and be a major star in WWE. The fans aren't going to like him. Immediately, Cody Rhodes got over. Now he's in this great feud with Brock Lesnar that's going to cultivate at SummerSlam. But I think looking back at it, I think now Cody made the right decision. And I don't really think AEW has truly been the same since then. And you add in, obviously, the CM Punk and the Elite incident at All Out of 2022.
I work with children. That I saw that meme everywhere when that happened. When Punk was in that press conference, I work with children. I'm hurt. I'm tired. I work with children. See, that is what was like, come on, guys. Like
that was not a good look. I'm surprised AEW brought Punk back. I really am. And I know, listen, I'm not trying to diss your favorite wrestler of all time. I'm not at all. I think CM Punk's one of the best in-ring talents ever. Personality-wise, I used to be a fan of Punk. I'm just not anymore. I think him with a microphone is a draw. Him as a wrestler anymore, to me, is not that much of a draw. I just want to hear what the man has to say, because now I know he can say whatever he wants.
He's kind of a D-bag. I can't lie.
Yeah, there you go. See, he's your favorite wrestler, and you're like, he's a D-bag. So again, that's another turnoff for a guy like me.
But like, he's not the bad kind of D-bag. He's just like, when he went on Cole Cabana's podcast 5 years ago, I was too young to understand what works were and what storylines were and all that stuff. But now that I listen to it, I understand that. I understand that Ryback was a complete moron. Like, I understand when he says some of the stuff he says, but I'll never understand the beef with Elite. And I really hope like they set that to the side and they have an actual feud, because I feel like that would draw. I feel like that would be fun to watch. I feel like if we watched Hangman Adam Page and CM Punk go at it in a hardcore match or just in a wrestling match in general, I feel like that would be a draw. It'd be fun to watch. So that's just me. Like, that's just how I look. I look at it as like, yeah, Punk says a lot of stuff you don't like, but he's been doing that for years, so it's nothing new. He went on air and called John Laurinaitis a douchebag yes-man live on air. So you can't really hate the guy. I love Punk. I forever will.
Jalen, this summer, actually 2 years ago today, on this date of this recording, which is July 16th, was 2 years to the day since WWE returned with crowds. It's been an amazing 2 years. I say that because that summer was special. We got the summer of Cena coming back against Reigns at SummerSlam. We had CM Punk return in AEW. Yet this summer, with Money in the Bank, with All In Wembley Stadium in London, with SummerSlam, with All Out, with the moments we've had with our guy L.A. Knight, yeah.
Yeah.
With the bloodline, with everything going on in WWE and AEW. This summer for wrestling, and it's been a good thing. We're going to get to this in a second. Our baseball team has not been very good.
No.
Wrestling has really kept us going this summer. It's been one of the best summers in wrestling, I believe, in a long time as we wrap up this wrestling segment today.
It's been one of the best wrestling summers since probably 2016. 2016 was probably my favorite year of being a wrestling fan.
The year the WWE had the draft, I'll never forget how big they made that draft, and that actually felt like a legitimate draft.
That was so fun. That was like, because I obviously when I started watching, the brand split didn't exist. I was so excited for the brand split. So maybe to me that was special. But you got AJ Styles and Cena at SummerSlam that year. That was insane. And this year alone, just on the AEW side of the ball, you had all these guys from New Japan coming over with Kenny Omega and making these dream matches happen. You have FTR putting on great matches on a Saturday 2-hour show, which that's incredible. And then you switch to SmackDown or Raw, and you're watching a 5-star movie being made with the Bloodline. So it's like, I couldn't ask for a better summer at this point.
Like that clip from the Brand Split podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brand Split podcast right here on YouTube.